Are you talking
Pro
about
wrestling,
somebody at the
Pro wrestling.
WWE F level?
Yeah, okay, we'll take WWE to give
Alright.
some kind of perspective.
Okay.
Are they salary based?
Yeah, they are salary based.
I would say the lowest level wrestler makes 40,000 a year.
You're close. Yeah, you're close.
I was gonna give him 40.
Yeah. So
no more than 50.
Well, if you're okay. So if you're just starting out trying to make a name for yourself, yes. But the low end, the low card readers for the WWE, $2,000 a week, and roughly about $100,000 a year.
That's not bad money though. Be a low card.
Yeah, but
flip every now and then.
But here's the thing. Though.
Where are you making your money off of?
Well, you're making straight salary.
Okay.
But you gotta pay for everything. You gotta pay for your flights. You gotta pay for your medical insurance.
Right.
You gotta pay for your hotel. Okay.
Okay.
So when you start
you're
thinking
a contractor.
about it, yeah, you're an independent contractor.
You're a contractor.
You 1099.
You're right, basically.
Yeah.
And so when you start thinking about how many shows you have to do a year, okay, that adds up really quick. So how much do you actually bring home versus, I mean, $100,000 is a lot of money. I think we can all agree.
So you got to pay for your own nutrition, your training,
all that,
everything.
and you got to stay in shape in the middle of your show. So you got to have, access to the gym and all of that. So that costs money too. Okay, because I've yet to see any gym, work you out for free.
So what you're telling me is that these guys are really making nothing through all that they go through. As big as wrestling is,
right.
I mean, we have to give it that as entertainment, that it is big,
right,
and it brings in a big dollar,
right.
And so, as much as it's been out there, so it's not doing anything for its people.
No, it's not. No, not for the wrestlers themselves. For you and I who are just, the average Joe, watching the wrestling, yeah, it does great for us. Gives us an escape from a week, whatever. But for the wrestlers themselves, no.
So the guy's putting his body through this.
Yeah.
He's getting nothing for this time after time. He's beating himself to death.
Love for the game.
Wow.
Love for the game.
Wow. So what's the so how do they move up?
Okay,
well, you might be getting it. I'm sorry for you.
No, you good. But basically, the fans. So you got to create a stick, a character, and it has to be something that the fans can relate to. They either got to love you or hate you, but they got to be able to relate some kind of way. So the next level is the mid-card readers, and they're making about $250,000 to $500,000. And by the way, for my girls, the divas. Oh, and speaking of which, now you mentioned earlier, Sifu, about the grandmas and grandpas watching. I don't know if they can handle this version of WWE, because those girls, well, maybe granddad will like it. I don't think grandma will like it so much, because they're a little more risque now than they're, Can we really even call it a family show, Rodney? Let your little ones watch it.
Watch WWE?
Yeah, with all the, I'm watching girls and teddies and everything.
Well, you know what though? I think I'd rather them see that than see MMA. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong.
but just playing devil's advocate with you, right? But you said, you saw women out there. I'm sorry, you said teddies?
Well, yeah, lingerie.
Okay, lingerie.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be funny, but does your kid ever sit and watch arena football?
Not lingerie football.
The lingerie league?
No.
But see, it's out there, see?
Yeah,
but it's
out there. Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, I don't know if we can, how far, I guess the thing is what we call family show has changed. Okay, because in the old days, you had to go in another room while the grown-ups watch their shows. But
well, look how much has changed. I mean, look at the things you can voice your opinions about and the verbiage that you can use now. I mean,
yeah,
it's changed quite a bit.
Yeah,
Freedom of speech is kind of, it's went out there.
It's loose.
It's going fishing.
Well, unless you go against popular. But mid cards, if you make it up to the next level, is $250,000 to $500,000. The divas get $250,000. Okay, now depending on their popularity, they can rise too. But the top cards like your Rock and your Brock Lesnar's and all those guys are making $1 million up. Plus. Gotta say this, they also get some of the door. They also get some of the merchandise and the advertising. And let's not forget the video games and etc. So, I mean, you have to think about, is it worth it? And how long are you willing to put in it? Because some of these guys, like The Undertaker, they've been doing this, 20, 30 years.
Okay, within that, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
And I don't know if you researched this or not.
All right.
But since you did bring this topic up, WWF versus MMA, what's the ratio, or is there one in numbers or something, that shows how many WWF wrestlers try to go to the MMA versus how many MMA try to go to WWF?
0 to
On which side?
from the
On which
latter.
side?
From the latter.
Okay.
Okay, so I've yet to see any. Well, I don't know. Do you want to call Brock Lesnar?
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
just
I mean,
asking.
I don't know how you would look at it. Okay. So hey, you know what? Maybe our fans can help us out. So why don't you guys call in and tell us about? Are you aware of any of that going on? That MMA fighters becoming wrestlers? Call us 214-814-5890 or hit us up on tribesmartialarts@gmail.com.
Hey, we'd like to give a quick shout out to everybody out there. Thank you, Philippines, Canada, and the USA.
Okay, so we got a call. Okay.
Hello?
Yes, caller.
Hi. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
I really think the show, I love the show. My kids, my godchildren, my nieces and nephews, everybody's listening to it. But here's my question. You're talking about wrestling, and you're talking about the amount of money they make and, you know, the different levels. But here would be my question. If you're dealing with MMA, none of that's scripted. In wrestling, it's scripted, because most of it is scripted. It's not like MMA where you literally, you know, you come straight out of it. The wrestling you're talking about is like high school wrestling, where you're really wrestling and you're doing it, you know, but you're on a circuit. It's a show. It's entertainment. There's, you know, all kind of extras. I mean, there's emotions that are so over the top that, you know, and I'm sure that some of the moves are, you know, realistic moves, but they're also taught how to fall. They're taught how to turn, how to twist, how to, you know, watch certain things and, you know, put certain things here, put certain things there so it'll give an effect. And, you know, I mean, does it really compare to MMA at all?
Wow, man. I'm gonna let Brian answer that for you, but I thank you for calling in with that because you were fantastic.
Well, it sounds like
Because
she's a fan.
She's come to the point. I mean, you've hit everything on point, ma'am. That it is a show, and that's what it is. It's a choreographed show versus somebody coming at you real. But I'm gonna let Brian get back on this topic, and I'm Will, and this is Brian on the side. I introduce myself right quick.
And Rodney.
But I thank you for calling, ma'am. Your questions is fantastic. Brian, you want to answer a
Well,
question?
yeah. You know, it's funny that she says that because I actually did some research on that. Check this out. As far as it, we'll agree it's a show. Now, can pro wrestling moves work in MMA? Yes and no. And I'll tell you why. It's actually, the techniques are the same. You know, as far as some of the techniques, because they've stolen some of the moves from jiu-jitsu. Okay, they also taken some moves from wrestling. She mentioned the high school level, which is, you know, the basis or genesis for most people who get into wrestling. So some of the stuff can work. However, the way they set it up, not so much. And see, that's the key. That's the difference. The setup is what it takes. Can you take a man, throw him out the ring, or bash him against the head with a chair? Of course you're gonna fall out. Now in real life, that guy will probably have a concussion. But on wrestling, we have to believe that, you know, he's laid out, because we know there's vaudeville at the end of the day. It's a show.
But your mind went there, and
Yes.
you let it freely
Right.
go there. You wanted to be entertained.
Right. You know, and it's, I don't know, I don't want to say cheap level entertainment because I don't want to offend anybody, but when you start understanding, you know, moves and arts and what wrestling versus show is, then, you know, you kind of like, okay. And that's when, and I guess for me, that's when the more educated I got, the more I start transitioning into MMA. Does that make sense? Because, you know, it's like, it's kind of like watching the old Van Damme fights movies back in the day. Back when you didn't know how to kick, those kicks looked so good. Back when you didn't know how to punch, you know, you see guys flying through the walls and stuff. And my dad said something interesting to me. He said, why is it that you can knock out, these guys are kicking down trees, but they can't knock a guy out? You know what I mean?
But for the fact that, I mean, it was entertaining. I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
But we're still gonna like the fact that it was entertaining.
That's what
It
I'm
was a
saying,
show.
and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was a show.
You know,
You want it to be odd.
Right, but the more educated, the more purist, the more educated you want. Now, there's a time and place for the show, but then sometimes you just want to see real. You know, you want to see what really would happen if you try this, because everybody's a champion until you get in the ring. You know, everybody think their style is better until they get in the ring.
What did Mike Tyson say? Everybody got a plan when you get hit.
Yeah. I like when Uriah Faber said, you know, all your training goes out the window when you get hit in the face.
Hey.
You just go for what you know. So, getting back to what she was saying, yes. There are some things in pro wrestling. If you put a choke on a man, a good choke, you put the blade in the neck, cut off the veins, the arteries, carotid arteries in the windpipe, yeah, he's gonna black out. Okay, but we know that in a wrestling match, he's not really blacking out. He has to sell that he's blacked out. Because remember the power driver?
Yes.
Okay, so if you ram a man's head into anything, like crown down.
Well, I mean, that's why I say it's entertainment.
Yeah.
I'm going with you here, but I
Yeah.
know I know it's entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, if I drop in your neck, you're gonna bounce. You're gonna mess up your C2.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be too good at it.
Yeah, you're not gonna get up from that. So yeah, to make a long story, but I want to get to this too. Let's talk about MMA pay versus wrestling pay. Okay. So you know, because it's only fair, since we're gonna talk about the two, we gotta talk. So the lowest level MMA fighter in the UFC last year, $6,000. The highest paid obviously was Anderson Silva, 1.2 million. That's not even including all of the endorsements.
Endorsements, I was gonna
Right.
say,
Yeah.
It's
So-
promoters and, the sponsors.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, we got a call. Okay, call.
I'm sorry, I called again because there was something that I meant to say and I totally have forgotten and wanted to
Okay.
discuss with you all on this. You know, we're doing the Olympics and I just talked about it earlier. And I tend to be a little bit of a history buff. And you're familiar with castration?
Mm-hmm.
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 Okay, so that actually started in 1614. That is mixed martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it started before that, man, but we can't date it. It's back to Egypt. It goes back to Egypt on the walls.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but I'm saying as far as what they're saying as far as what they believe they thought.
Right.
And that dated back then, and I thought, you know, people maybe should be looking at the Olympics, but some of the things that are in the Olympics now were definitely nothing that were in the Olympics in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And after morning.
You sure right about that?
I'll try not to stop that.
Yeah.
That was nice.
That was nice.
That was nice.
But you're exactly right, though. She was talking about the pancreatic wrestling stuff, you know. And did you guys know only the Greeks, the ethnic Greeks, could compete in that? And it was outlawed in many different regions back in those times. So imagine how violent it was back then, because it's so cruel and primitive. You know, I mean, you could actually kill somebody in there. You can actually really hurt somebody where they can no longer compete ever.
Well, you know, back then, when we talk about the games, it was a little different.
Yeah.
You was gladiators back then.
Yeah.
You was going down.
Yeah.
You didn't want that thumb down thing. That wasn't a good day for you.
Well, you know what? Believe it or not, though, I did some research, and it was actually the other way around. The thumbs up is the death. Thumbs
What?
down was the one that let them live, and then the two fingers was, you know, permission. Yeah.
Yeah, permission.
Yeah. For
forgiveness,
yeah.
don't kill me.
Yeah, please don't kill
Please
me.
don't kill me, yeah.
So she's exactly right. And obviously, yeah, we know that it came back because when you think about it, it's all relative because all of it came from combat, some type of combat, and every culture started, you know, making it uniquely theirs, and then this one started seeing what this was doing and build upon it.
I think man has been intrigued for a long time.
Yeah.
How to beat himself up.
Yeah. You know, we're not happy unless we're going to a break. So anyway, we're breaking bones, and on that note, we're going to a break. So stay with us. All right, Tribes, MA Radio.
It's a knockout. Oh, man.
That was funny.